This is Pastor Coleman of the Antioch Church here in the great city of Muskogee, Oklahoma. Brothers and sisters, I want to invite you to a worship service like never before. We have two great opportunities for you to worship God here at our 9:30 a.m. service and at our 10:45 a.m. service. And guess what? Two different sermons every Sunday. Right now, we're getting ready to go into a sermon series called About That Life. We're challenging young people, young adults, men and women of every age to understand there's a better life than the life that the streets offer you. There's a better life than what the world has for you. And through this next sermon series, we're trying to change lives. We're trying to ask God to work miracles in lives, change hearts to make people better than they are. I'm inviting you to a great worship experience. Here at the Antioch Church, we love people. We love the opportunity to serve, and we hope you join with us real soon. Be blessed. Beginning at verse number 1, now the wife of one of the sons of the prophets cried to Elisha, your servant, my husband, is dead, and you know that your servant feared the Lord. But the creditor has come to take my 2 children to be his slaves. And Elisha said to her, what shall I do for you? Tell me, what have you in the house? Hug somebody and tell them, it's in the house. It's in the house. Tell your other neighbor, you have everything you need for your miracle. And she said, your servant has nothing in the house except a jar of oil. Then he said, go outside, borrow vessels from all your neighbors. Empty the vessels, and not too few. Somebody shout, get plenty. Then go in and shut the door behind yourself and your sons, and pour into all these vessels. And when the one is full, set it aside. So she went from him and shut the door behind herself and her sons. And as she poured, they brought the vessels to her. When the vessels were full, she said to her son, bring me another vessel. And he said to her, there is not another. Then the oil stopped flowing. She came and told the man of God. And he said, go sell the oil and pay your debts. And you and your sons can live on the rest. Somebody shout overflow. Oh. Amen. You may be seated. We want to come on the subject. Do your work. Do your work. In fact, let's just make it so you can remember. Do your part. Tell your neighbor, you will get a miracle if you do your part. I read a quote the other day that says this: if it is important to you, you will find a way. If not, you will find an excuse. If it's important to you, you will find a way. But if it's not important to you, you will find an excuse. Excuses, excuses, excuses. Some people in the building today cannot receive their miracle because instead of being full of work or I can do or I will do, they are full of excuses. When in need of a miracle, and whether or not you get it depends on what you're willing to put in for it to happen. Whether or not you get your miracle, believers, depends on what you're willing to do in order for your miracle to happen. How many of you know today God does not bless lazy people? Ooh, if you're lazy, you'll never get a miracle. If you're lazy, you'll never have a good job. If you're lazy, you'll never receive or experience the power of God. Because lazy people pray this prayer: God, bring me a miracle. But faithful people say, God, put me in the way. And for me to be in the way, I got to do my work. I got to put some elbow grease in. I got to sweat. I got to do some labor because I want my miracle. Getting your miracle is not based on your ability to make excuses, but upon your willingness to press your way through. How many of you know people right now that need something, but every time they need it, they make an excuse for why they can't get it? You say, here's a job application. I'm out of ink. You say, there is work on the other side of town, but I can't find a ride. Let me talk to somebody who know people that smoke weed. Here's weed. I'll find a ride. Oh man, some of y'all know I'm talking right today. Here's employment. Oh, I don't have a ride. How many of you know sometimes you gotta walk to your miracle? I'm talking to somebody today. Oh, I'm a witness. If you put feet on the ground and have faith, God will make a way. Those of us who are the living beneficiary testimonies to God's miracles in our lives will quickly testify that after I did all I could do, then I saw God. Oh, that was weak. Where are my people that pressed their way through their tears and then they saw God? Pressed their way through hard times, then you saw God. Did all your work, hustle, struggle, scrabble, crawl, then you saw the hand of God. Well, I wish 6 people could jump up and say, oh yeah, Reverend, I know what you're talking about. I got on there and I did something. I didn't wait. I worked and then I saw God. Benjamin Franklin said this: laziness travels so slowly that poverty soon overtakes him. Laziness travels so slowly that poverty soon overtakes him. That is the end of a man or a woman who does not have the desire to work. You know, your job might be better if you really worked it instead of complaining about it. I'm the only one on the floor lifting up these boxes. You know what? You ought to be the best box lifter in the building. Oh man, I would do better if everybody else would do what they're supposed to do. You be the best supposed to doer on the job. I wish I was talking to somebody that would say, man, nobody else would work, but when I did what I was supposed to do, they saw me. And God laid it on their heart to say, here's a promotion, here's a better job, here's a, ooh, I ain't got no witnesses. Y'all playing on the day. Yeah, I did my part, baby. Then I saw Are you working hard while waiting for your miracle? Or are you hardly working while miracles pass you by? Ooh, that's tweetable. Are you working hard while waiting for your miracle? Or are you hardly working while miracles pass you by? God, why haven't they come to me yet? Are you really working? Why haven't I gotten my deliverance yet? Are you working or are you hustling? There's a difference between a worker and a hustler. See, a hustler don't really want to do too much work. That's why they hustling drugs and hustling this and hustling that. Oh, I could make $5,000 a day. Always looking over your shoulder and got to keep enough bail money to get you out. But a worker says, here's a shovel, I'll work. Here's a job, I'll work. Here's a lawnmower, I'll work. Overtime pay appears in your paycheck when you're willing to put in extra hours. I know people who have the nerve to want to make what somebody else make on their job, but they do have to work. Well, I don't know why they pay him or her more. They are willing to put in the extra time. Overtime happens in your check when you work extra hours. Paint and paintbrushes in front of a canvas are nothing but in the hands of a painter who's willing to work. The miracle of art takes place. Got a lot of children here today that we gave you little certificates and your little gifts to, but children, you got to work. Degrees don't just happen, you have to work. Parents, if you want your children to be blessed, work in front of them. Teach them by your example the value of working hard. The value of being a participant in your miracle. The value that if I do my part, God will do the rest. Mothers, raise your hand. Grandmothers, you'll like this one. The miracle of childbirth happens as long as the mother is willing to push. Hey! Childbirth happens when mothers are willing to push. Somebody shout push. Oh, how many of you women can testify right now? Hey, Reverend, it hurt, but I had to push. That was uncomfortable, but I had to push. I didn't feel so good, but I had to push. I was mad, but I had to. Ooh, where you at, ladies? Come on, come on. Do it with me. Oh, come on, come on. Let me see if you can remember that face you made. Come on in. Oh, man. High five somebody right now and tell them, hey, if you want your miracle, you got to be ready to push. It might hurt, but you got to push. It might be uncomfortable. Oh, man, I wish somebody need a miracle right now. Jump up and just... where you at today? New job. Better relationships. Better job. Better finances. Better attitude. Better supervisor. New car. Better home. The text reveals to us what is necessary for us to have our miracle. Number one, you have to be connected to the right source. Some of you are connected to deadbeats and chicken heads and yesterday's lovers when you need to be connected to Jesus. The woman in the text is a widow of a prophet that served under Elisha. she reminds the prophet of her indirect relationship to Elisha. She says, my husband, your servant, is now dead. I don't want you to miss that, brothers and sisters. My husband, your servant, is now dead. In other words, I didn't work for you, but my husband did. Let me tell you, there's nothing wrong with operating by who you know, as long as who you know knows the Lord. Somebody say, hey, in this town, it's all in who you know. Let me tell you, there's nothing wrong with who you know, as long as who you know knows Jesus. And you gotta find a way to put yourself in the right circle of friends. Some of you know people who know people that don't know Jesus. And you run in the same circle of disaster, the same circle of disappointment, the same circle of letdown, the same circle of poverty, because you connected to folks that don't know Jesus. Playing spades with people that don't have no connection, slamming dominoes down with people who have no connection, going on trips and cruises and vacations with people that are not connected. In the woman's desperate time of need, she goes to the right source. She was not a first, oh, I'm babbling now. Tell somebody here, come on. This woman was not a first or third Sunday member. She was not a second or fourth Sunday member. Are you quiet because you don't know what I'm talking about? Or are you quiet because I'm digging in your front step? She was not a Christmas, Mother's Day, or Easter member. But she was someone who was already connected. No connection, no power. How many of you had your cell phone to die and you was hurriedly trying to find your charger? And you sat there and waited patiently while it charged. And you didn't take it off the charger right away, because you know if you do that, you'll be dead again. And some of you are just like a dead cell phone. You can't recharge because you're not on the line long enough. Some of you are in the house of God long enough just to get your quick fix, your quick charge, your quick battery power, and you're dead as soon as you need the connection, because you never fall. Never reach 100%. Well, I would have went to church today, but I wasn't feeling good. Hey, I'm a witness. Going to church made me feel a whole lot better than laying in my bed of depression, laying in my bed of disappointment, laying in my bed of frustration, laying in my bed of letdown. When I got connected! Oh, I wish I had a real church in here today. Don't lose your connection. Tell somebody, stay plugged in. Stay plugged in. Tell them, don't go to 50%. Go all the way to 100. You cannot stay away from God, His program, His people, His ministry, His church, and expect to be blessed. I'm down on my luck, and I ain't been in church in 3 months. You ought to be down. My finances are bankrupt, but I ain't been going to church. They ought to be bankrupt, because you don't have a connection. Wouldn't you have a lot of nerve to cuss at your cell phone provider about how bad your phone works, but you never charge it? I'm going to take this thing back. The battery never charged. You never charge it. Some of you treat God the same way. I never have power. I'm never healed. I never have glory. I never have a shout. I never have a praise. You're not connected. Number 2, for you to have your miracle, you have to have a problem. Oh, I'm going through it. You ought to say, glory to your name, God. Oh, my car broke. Hallelujah, Jesus. My body hurt. I'm a candidate for a healing. Oh, my job acting crazy. Thank you, God. You're about to close this door and open one that I never could imagine on my own. That's why when you're going through a problem, you have to remind yourself, it's just a setup for my breakthrough. Oh, anybody been set up by God today? Oh, y'all don't know. Y'all don't know. Where my people got set up? Yeah, you didn't know what was going on. It was just a setup. Hey, high five somebody and say, baby, I'm going through a setup. Oh, yeah. Job acting crazy. It's just a setup for a miracle. Family acting crazy. It's just a setup. When the woman's husband died, she was in debt and could not pay it. And her sons were to be turned over to the creditor as payment for her debt. You need a miracle, not just because of the negative impact it's having on you, but because of the negative impact it can have on your children. This woman's children was going to be sold as slaves because of her problem. Every parent in here, if you want your children to be saved, quit running from God when you have a problem and run to God. Quit staying home on Sunday talking about I'm depressed and run to God. Quit being bitter and nasty and always having something negative to say and get happy and run to God and say, in Jesus' name, cure my problem. Because if you cure my problem, my children are going to get the blessing. Number 3, you have to use your resources. The prophet does not respond to the woman by performing a miracle. He says to her, what do you want me to do? I imagine some of y'all have been offended. Rev, I got a problem. Pastor, I'm in trouble. And the response is, what do you want me to do about it? You would think, well, I've never had a preacher like that. He says, what do you want me to do? And then he says, tell me, what do you already have in your house? I'm going to ask you that right now. What do you already have? What do you already have that you're not using? What do you already have that you refuse to yield to the power of God? Or you just sitting in the house with no air conditioning fan hoping somebody give you one? Or you sitting in the house with a yard full of raggedy grass hoping somebody might cut it for you? What do you already have? She says, all I have is a jar of oil. Ooh, I'm broke. My husband's dead. I got these children. They're about to be enslaved. And all I have is a jar of oil. I don't have Twitter where I could send a message to the world saying, help me. I don't have a Facebook account where I could post, I'm in trouble. I don't have a cell phone where I can call and say, help me. All I got is a jar of oil. Anybody ever been at rock bottom with no friends, no family, no help, no money, no car, no cell phone? I mean, everybody just look like when you need them the most, you can't find anybody. All I have is a jar of oil. Everything you need, believers, is in your house. In other words, God has given you resources. You got to work it. You got to put hands on it and work it. Number 4. Little becomes much when you're willing to work. Whew. Tell somebody, get a job. Tell somebody else, work. Work. Tell somebody else, stop crying. Tell somebody else, quit complaining, walk. Walk. Nobody won't come get me walk. Little becomes much when you're willing to work. Parents, if you want your children to be successful, teach them the value of work. The value of work. As a people, we have been worked into poverty because we don't understand the value of work. When you don't understand the value of work, people can work you to death for $7.25 an hour. But when you understand the value of work, you rise to the occasion, and $7.25 becomes so hallelujah that you got better opportunity because you're willing to work. Where my workers at? I mean, when rubber meet the road, you working. I don't need to beg, I'm working. The prophet does not just give the woman a miracle, but she has to do her work with what she has. He tells her, go outside, borrow vessels from your neighbors. Oh, I could imagine the neighbors was all up in her grill. Here she come, isn't that the servant's wife? And now she borrowing vessels. You know what that reminds me of? When you were up and found yourself down. Oh man, y'all must still be up. Where are my people that's been knocked down? One in a day! Gone tomorrow. Relationship today! Gone tomorrow. Having to borrow from her neighbors took her out of her comfort zone. But she had to do what the prophet said. Some of the work you need to do, brothers and sisters, to get your miracle may seem embarrassing, but you have to do what's necessary in order to get your miracle. You might have to clean toilets for a little while, but you're on your way to your miracle. Precious, you walk into work right now, but you're on your way to your miracle. Some of you are crying yourself to sleep at night because your body hurting so bad from how hard you got to work, but you're on your way to your miracle. You may have to settle for food stamps today, but it's only a part of the process. One day you'll have cash to buy groceries. Will I always be poor? No. You just on your way to something better. But you got to go through in